Oh, videotape it here. Did you probably call him?
I'm not sure. Went to the Schubert last night.
What'd you see there?
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, that's good. You still get a glare.
Where we go? Oh yeah.
Real cute.
Hi, Phil.
Bye, Debbie. Hi, Debbie.
Oh, stay there, Barb. I want to see. I would get all the big wheels. All the executives.
You evidently don't know what big wheels are.
And this is the production manager and the director here.
What a woman. 10 and 11. Okay. 10 and 11, yeah. Anyway, Garth was wonderful.
Not yet, but it's
Okay, the important part. Yeah, that's right.
Nine, 10, 11. Get the ticket.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was walking down Newberry Street in Boston one day, late afternoon. Low on the horizon, the setting sun shone directly in my face. It dazzled me, this light. I saw shadow forms of people coming toward me, but I couldn't make out faces, and I couldn't make out buildings. I felt like I was almost blind, even though my eyes were wide open. How to describe it? I felt like a camera with its lens open too far. You know, it's funny about the drivers in Boston. They don't honk very much. They drive like madmen, but they don't honk, which is unexpected to a New Yorker who expects not only honking, but yelling, sirens, and distant gunfire. So here I was, having a strange, silent walk down Newberry Street. Strange not only because it seemed so civilized, but because having been blinded by the light, my sense of hearing was unusually keen. And without meaning to, I found myself eavesdropping on a number of conversations.
So one of them asked him, so tell me about yourself. And he says, well, I was born and raised in California, but I came here to go to school. God, it sounded like a dating game. I like tennis and skiing and will someday become a dentist. You know, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh. God, yeah.
So then, everyone's passing the peas and my Aunt Janet starts to tell a story about a trip she took to California. Looks like everything's gonna be okay.
Oh yeah, like we really won that war. I mean, he got exactly what he wanted. He crashed the place and he's still in power. That's an interesting definition of victory for our side.
The feel-good war of the 90s.
So my dad says to him, so what do you kids do for excitement? And he says, well, Julie and I are still in the early stages of our relationship, so we basically stay in bed and have sex all day.
He said that.
Yes, can you believe it? I'll say anything. Hey, listen to this.
Let me see it again.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I can't believe how beautiful it is.
I think you got the right one. I'm very proud of us.
So am I.
Don't let it be what I think it is. For God's sake, don't let it be what I think it is.
I'm tired of that scraw joke. It wasn't funny 10 years ago, and it's not funny now. Why can't they just go to without making that stupid scraw joke?
What scraw joke?
Oh, please. You're a waitress in a seafood restaurant, and she's never heard the scraw joke.
You were wonderful. When that guy started to pressure us, we just walked right out.
Actually, he wasn't pressuring us. He was just doing his job. I liked him.
Well, you thought he was so wonderful. Well, why didn't you buy it from him?
I'm not saying he was wonderful. I was just kind of enjoying him.
Well, that's funny. I thought we were having the same experience, and now I find out we were having two different experiences.
Well, we're having the same experience now, aren't we?
I don't know. Are we?
That was it, really. Conversations, fragments of conversations. Who knows where they were meant to lead? But I became so aware of how much life goes on all the time. How many stories, how many people are out there with their absolute reality that has nothing to do with my absolute reality. To them, I'm a backdrop. To me, they're mine. How often do we think of ourselves as backdrops for other people's lives? Not often, I guess. We prefer to think of ourselves as being terribly significant. I remember being in New York once when a piece of scaffolding fell and bisected the head of a person a half a block ahead of me. I arrived in time to see the carnage, the hysteria. I started thinking about the guy that had been killed. An actor in his 30s, I read a few days later. The center of his own particular universe until that universe was snatched suddenly from him. And all the rest of us on that New York afternoon on 57th Street were merely the backdrop for the particular drama that was his life. How strange it would have been for him to realize that the supporting cast was going to play the show out without him. A play with a vacuum where the leading man is supposed to be. Impossible. We all live with that illusion, don't we? We all parade the streets daily back and forth, oblivious to the fact that the next piece of scaffolding may be meant for us. And convinced that deep down in the truest part of life, we're nobody's backdrop. I was in my hotel room watching endless reruns of gratuitous slaughter in the Middle East when the phone rang. Hello?
Maggie?
Yes?
Maggie Mulroney.
Yes, who's this?
Brace yourself for a blast from the past. This is Jim Burrows.
Jim? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Where are you?
I'm right here, in Boston.
Are you still living here?
Sure am. Well, Norville, actually.
You sound just the same. Well, how are you? I mean, where have you been? How did you get my number? How did you find out I was in town?
I read it in the paper. Maggie Mulroney will be signing copies of her new book at the Harvard Bookstore Cafe. Well, you're famous, Maggie girl.
I am not.
Well, you're as close to famous as anybody I've ever known.
Jim, I can't believe we're talking to each other. I feel like we're still in high school.
And give or take 25 years.
No.
25 years.
Impossible. Well, what are you, how are you doing?
I'm fine, just fine. Yourself?
Oh, I'm fine too. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. I'm overwhelmed.
Me either. 25 years is a long time to catch up on. Would you like to get together and try this in person?
I'd love to. This psychologically is the moment in conversation when you establish the boundaries of what's going to happen between a man and a woman. Naturally, both of us knew this instinctively.
We can have dinner. I'd like to have you over to the house. I'd love you to meet my wife.
That sounds wonderful. You have kids too?
No kids. We wanted to, but look, we can talk about all this over dinner. How about tomorrow night?
Great.
I'll pick you up at 5.
See you then. That was as easy as that. 25 years of total silence, of not knowing, of rarely thinking about the person that was once the big reason you got up in the morning, and now all at once you're going to have a civilized dinner with him and his wife.
Ain't life strange?
He picked me up alone.
Maggie?
Jim? Jim!
Hey, you didn't recognize me.
I do. It was the sun. It was in my eyes. I didn't recognize him. He looked completely different. I searched his face for the boy I knew, but I couldn't find him. It was scary. I felt uneasy on the drive back to his house. Maybe this was a big mistake. What could we possibly still have in common?
You look great, Mag.
Thanks, so you.
Success sure agrees with you.
Well, it's been a long haul. Should have met me a couple of years ago. You would have said, poor Maggie, too bad her life's not working out for her.
Really? Sure looks like it's working out now. I'm taking us through Newbridge, just for old time's sake.
Oh, good. It's been so long. Have there been a lot of changes?
You'd be amazed.
At the changes?
And how much is exactly the same? Do you recognize this road?
No, not really. At least Oh!
Recognize it now?
Yes!
Our little detour.
It's still there?
Sure is.
We used to pull over in his van and make love. We had a special spot, a tiny little dirt road. Wait, it's coming up, right? About... There! It's still there.
Still is. Remember how we used to lie in the van and watch the stars come out?
And then you drive me home about 80 miles an hour on Lamar Street. It was crazy. We took our life in our hands every night. We never even gave it a second thought. We thought we were impervious.
Completely invulnerable.
We're lucky we weren't killed.
Never even crossed my mind at the time.
Me neither. Oh, we were pretty wild then, huh?
Pretty wild. I don't think I've ever felt as sure of myself since.
What do you do? I mean, for a living. Are you still a musician?
No, I'm teaching at the high school.
Really? Music?
No English. One of life's little ironies, wouldn't you say? Me, the one who couldn't wait to get out of town, teaching English to the next generation of fuck-ups at the high school. Somebody has a twisted sense of humor.
Hey, but teaching, that's a wonderful thing to do. Not everyone can teach. I'll bet you're great at it.
I am great at it. I even like it. That doesn't mean it's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
What do you want to do?
Oh, hell, what don't I want to do? I want to be a film director. I want to swim the Ganges. I want to find a cure for cancer.
Noble aspirations.
I want to be 17 and start all over again.
Really?
No, I'm kidding about that.
But there were tears in his eyes. This happened several times on the drive home. But since the rest of him seemed so completely under control, I began to think maybe he developed an eye condition. Men are an odd breed. Their emotions sneak out in the strangest ways.
What do you want?
Me? At the moment, I want to write a very, very good book. I want it to come easily and naturally, and I want the muse to be sitting on my shoulder the entire time.
The whole time.
Not even a coffee break.
What about marriage, children, that whole thing? Don't you want any of that?
How do you know I'm not married?
I read an interview in the Patriot Ledger.
Oh. Well, it's not that big of a priority for me. I mean, I think about it from time to time. It's not that high on my list. It's really not. I get so annoyed with these people who think just because you're not married, your life is a total failure. I mean, sometimes I think I can win the Nobel Prize and people would still think I'm a failure because I'm not married. I mean, big deal.
Absolutely.
It's not necessarily the end of the world.
Hey, it was just a question.
Right. Sorry. It's just a question I get asked a lot.
Sure.
Okay! So I got a little defensive. For 25 years and still knew how to punch my buttons.
I've been writing some myself. Music, I mean.
Really? I'd love to hear it sometime.
Oh, it's not for general consumption. I never expected to market it or anything.
So what? I remember how talented you were, Jim.
Yeah. You know, I do think some of it's pretty good. I really do.
There he was, the boy I knew. He was there all the time. I just hadn't noticed.
So far, the only person who's heard any of it is Maggie, and what's she gonna say? She loves me.
Maggie?
Yeah. Oh, didn't I mention that to you? My wife's name is Maggie, too.
Really?
Yeah. Wild, huh? Only she spells hers with a Y. Think of it, the two big loves of my life are the same name.
I hadn't known that. I mean, about being one of the two big loves.
You're gonna love her. In some ways, you're very much alike.
You know, I always get just a little nervous when people tell me I'm going to love someone because they're so much like me. Generally, I can't stand people who remind me of me.
I'm talking sense of humor, that kind of thing. In other ways, you're very different. Do you remember Maggie McClintock?
No.
You probably will when you see her. She was a cheerleader.
Jim, how could anyone who was a cheerleader in high school be anything like me?
Basically, she just did it despite everyone.
Ah, that sounds like me.
Got an extended joke. She was a year behind us. I didn't know her then. I met her years later at a 4th of July parade. We started making rude comments together about the floats and realized we had causticity in common. It's a wonderful bond being caustic together, don't you find?
I guess. My imagination was running wild. I was expecting some kind of cross between Christy Brinkley and Dorothy Parker.
Well, here we are.
Wow, what a wonderful house. How long have you lived here?
6 years. Oh, by the way, there's one other thing that you should know about Maggie. She has cancer.
Hi, Maggie. Good to see you. Come on in. How was the drive out?
Great. I showed her new braces. You haven't seen it so long.
Hasn't changed much, has it?
No, it's kind of amazing. So much else has, in the rest of the world, I mean.
Actually, we have too. You just can't see it at first.
Do you recognize Mag now?
I hate to say it, but no. You seem to recognize me.
Oh, sure. You haven't changed much. Would you like a glass of wine?
Ah, sure, that'd be great.
Jim bought this specially for the occasion.
Oh, let me get that for you, then.
No, I can't get it.
You have a beautiful home. I love what you've done with it.
Oh, thanks. We got off to a good start on it, but lately it's had to take a backseat to other things. We hope to get back to it soon.
How old is this house?
Over 100 years.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of history. Thought of the ghosts probably around.
Seriously?
Well, people believe that sort of stuff, which I don't personally, but Maggie does.
Oh, sure. I plan to prowl around when the time comes, scare the shit out of everybody, don't you?
Here's to us.
To us. So, Jim tells me you're here to do publicity for your new book.
Yeah, book signings, that kind of thing.
Sounds like it's already a big hit. I can see why. It's really funny.
You read it?
Oh, sure. Jim did too.
Wow, I'm flattered. How did you like it, Jim?
Fine. Very, very good. Was that supposed to be your dad?
Yeah, with a few embellishments.
Interesting.
Why?
I remember him so differently.
Well, this is fiction, and sometimes you have to distort reality to make things interesting.
Sure.
And it's been so long since he died.
He died? You didn't mention that in the book.
No, too much of a downer. I wanted to keep things light.
Oh, that's too bad, though. How'd he die?
Well, cancer, actually. So, Maggie, you were a cheerleader in high school. I'm trying to figure out why I can't remember you.
I'll look at the yearbook. Maybe that'll jog your memory.
Well, you probably made more of an impression on me than I made on you. You were a pretty memorable figure at Newbridge High.
Really? I always thought of myself as rather disenfranchised and out of it.
Oh, no. You were a resident angry young woman. I was completely in awe of you.
You were?
Yeah, I think a lot of us were. You remember that little thing called Moratorium Day?
Sure, protest day. Let's get our dick out of Cambodia.
Yeah. I remember the day you were running around trying to drum up support for it. You came storming into the gym where we were practicing cheers and said, cut school tomorrow and come to Boston for Moratorium Day. Everyone who objects to this obscene war is doing it. Even people like you. I like that. Even people like us. Even hopelessly shallow rally girls were trooping to Boston for Moratorium Day.
Tact was never my strong suit.
And you remember Beth Folger? She said, well, do you know what tomorrow is? It's the day before the game with Dover, and we have to practice. You just gave us this look of total disgust, and you said, why don't you girls stuff your pom-poms up your pudenda? And then you marched off.
Really? I'm not even sure that's proper English.
Oh, well, we got the point.
I was such a big mouth in those days. I'm surprised someone didn't pop me one.
Oh, no. I thought you were great. I will admit, though, that some of the girls thought you were crackpot. I mean, there you were fomenting revolution while we were still curling our hair on orange juice cans. You kind of caught us by surprise.
I never fomented revolution. I remember having a cause or two, but I never blew anything up.
Yeah, I was secretly a little disappointed about that.
Did you go to the protest?
No. I had family problems. Wish I could have, though. I bet it was inspiring.
Yeah, it was okay.
Oh well. Next slide.
Here it is. Chronicle of a Renaissance. Meg and I page through it every now and then looking for a good laugh. Check out some of the inscriptions.
Oh, here's one from Pam Brogan. To Jim, a talented person and beautiful human being. Remember to seek the light and live forever free. 60s.
Gone, but not distorted beyond recognition.
Oh, how could we have worn our hair this way? My mother always said it looks like you're hanging curtains. I never really understood what she meant.
I personally slaved for hours for that curtain effect.
Mine was the product of sheer neglect. Dear Jim, thanks for putting up with me in chem class. You're a wonderful person, and I'm so glad I got the chance to know you. Best wishes forever, Gina Laszlo. Gina Laszlo, she took chemistry? I always thought of her as a certified idiot.
A beautiful certified idiot. If there was one thing Gina was definitely an expert in, it was chemistry.
Oh, listen to him. My Don Juan.
Jim had a major crush on Gina Laszlo.
I did not. I mean, I thought she was sexy and everything, but so did everybody else. I didn't have the nerve to come on to Gina Laszlo.
Jim Burrows, what are you talking about? What about the night of our senior prom?
What about it?
You dumped me for her.
What? I did not.
You most certainly did.
Jim, you dumped her at the senior prom?
No, I didn't. Did I?
Why would I make up a thing like that?
My God, I did, didn't I?
I had to hitch a ride home. It was completely humiliating.
Oh, you hitchhiked in your prom dress.
It was a night to remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jim.
Wait a minute. Then you broke my window. Remember that? You went over to my house and broke my bedroom window with a rock.
I did not.
You did too.
Well, you deserved it.
Well, this sounds like a really stable relationship you two had going.
We were hopeless.
Well, I think it's time you bury the hatchet, don't you? After all, it's been 25 years.
Maggie, I humbly beg your forgiveness for dropping you at the senior prom.
Okay. You're forgiven. I'm sorry I broke your window.
And that made me pay for it.
Jim.
Okay, I accept your apology.
Thanks. It was funny. I walked into this house and felt totally accepted. There were no weird vibes. I wasn't a threat. She seemed completely unfazed by me.
So, Maggie, are you married?
Oh, look out.
No. I guess I can't find a man who isn't threatened by me. That sounds kind of obnoxious. I guess I haven't just met the right guy.
I have a lot of girlfriends who have the same problem. There's something funny going on between the sexes these days. Everyone's jockeying for position like the gun's gonna go off any minute.
Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe it's me.
Why would it be you?
I don't know.
It's not you, Maggie. Don't worry about that.
Hey, how come Maggie can ask that question? It's all right. I asked her to get my head bitten off. This isn't fair. Yeah. That'll be the phone. Hello. Yeah, she's right here. It's for you.
Oh, thank you. Hello? Uh-huh, shoot. Okay. What time? Right, okay. Thank you. Sorry about that, that was my service. Looks like I've got another interview coming up.
Oh, how exciting!
Oh, it's really not at all. It's grueling, but it's got to be done. It goes with the territory. I sometimes feel like someone controls every move I make.
Well, how'd they get this number?
I gave it to them. Oops.
Oh, so?
Where are the cheerleading pictures?
Oh, Jim, there's you.
Oh, I remember that picture. Jim Morrison lives.
Maggie, there's you.
Oh, yuck. I hate that shot. I look like Squeaky Frog.
Squeaky Frog.
Feel free to disagree with me.
No, it's true. It's really true.
Listen, no, she looks pretty.
All right, here we go. Okay, there's my Maggie with all her fellow leaders in the chair.
Where?
Right there.
Oh! I remember you.
Hi.
Hi. I did remember her. I never knew her, but I remember her distinctly. She must have lived near the school. I took the bus and I would frequently see her walking as we passed. She always had shiny hair that swung back and forth as she walked, and usually some nice skirt and sweater that looked freshly cleaned and pressed. And yet, there was an air of tension about her as though she were walking in some perfectly constructed bubble. And yet, the woman before me tonight was nothing like my high school recollections. I kept looking at her, and the same thought kept ringing in my head. This woman has cancer?
So, Maggie, you hungry?
Yeah, I am.
Jim, you?
Sorry.
Okay, let's go.
I was so upset with Ken Diamond got the Harvard Book Award instead of me that when they told me I got the Brown Book Award, I said, what the hell is a Brown Book Award? And then I went to Boston University and everything, and it wasn't until 1981 I was tapping up a resume. I said to myself, schmuck, we should have gone to Brown.
Well, maybe you just thought they were giving you a brown book.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to present Ken Diner with the Harvard Book Award, and Jim Burroughs gets this brown book.
That's a consolation prize.
Nothing brings me, but it's a lovely shade of brown.
And the home version of our game. And the rice are running. God, is this funny or is there something wrong with that?
No.
I think this is what they call making a scene.
Oh, good. I've always wanted to make a scene. I'm waiting for Major D to come over and say, excuse me, but I couldn't help noticing the injury of making a scene.
Perhaps you didn't notice the sign as you came in. No dogs, t-shirts, or scene making in the restaurant.
And I'll say, please, sir, take pity on the poor girl. I'm going in for chemo at 9 in the morning, and this may be my last chance to make a really good scene.
Avant, he'll say. Down with the sign. Let the scene making begin.
I think he'll say avant.
He's a Shakespearean actor on the side.
So, you're going in the hospital tomorrow.
Yeah, chemotherapy.
How do you feel about that?
Well, she'd rather be on the beach in Maui, but that wasn't one of the options.
I'm sorry, that was kind of tactless.
No, that's a fair question. What would you like to know?
Well, I just never really understood. I mean, what's it like?
Well, first you feel like shit. Then you feel better. Then you feel like total shit. Then hopefully you feel much better. Somewhere along the way your hair falls out. It's a process.
What they do is they try to take you as close to the edge as they can without actually killing you. Then they count on the natural strength of your body to kick in and kind of build things up again.
Fortunately, I have a pretty strong constitution. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for the fact that I have cancer, I'm in perfectly good health. But that's kind of like aside from that, Mrs. Lincoln.
The last one made her feel better for quite some time. We thought we had it on the run, but it's deceptive.
Yeah, we're kind of on the retreat right now. We're trying to gain back a little ground, but even when you do, it's like Kuwait. The enemy's gone in and trashed it so bad, you're not even sure it's worth having.
It's worth having.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worth having. I'm kidding.
Hey, Mag, listen. They're playing our song.
Playing our song. That's elevator music.
No, listen.
Oh my God. Whiter shade of pale.
Yusak Procopharum. Now I've heard everything.
Yeah.
Dance with me, sweetheart. Can't let this opportunity go by.
Dance with you here? Are you crazy?
You said you wanted to make a really good scene.
That's right, I did.
Your wish is my command.
Oh.
They were so in love, it was almost painful to watch. Maggie looked so calm and serene. She didn't look ill in any way. Only later did I find out about all the pills she popped just to be with us that night. Jim looked like a man who had just met the most beautiful woman in the world and couldn't believe his good fortune that she had agreed to dance with him. I watched them in awe. I had never seen anything quite like it. It was as if they were the only two people in the whole restaurant. The only two people in the whole world.
Maggie Burroughs, you have just made a scene.
Thank you, my love. Another lifelong wish come true. Oh, Maggie, are you feeling totally abandoned?
No, just jealous. I want to make a really good scene.
Well, shall we all three dance the next dance?
Well, maybe we can organize the other diners and form a conga
Oh,
line.
this is a conga line. Let's play.
Good luck with that.
Oh, well.
Maybe we should have a seriously dangerous dessert instead.
Ah, an inspired idea. Get the guy out here. Garçon! You mind if I call you garçon?
No, not if you're planning to tip well.
Ah, an honest woman. I appreciate her bluntness, don't you? Well, Rita, we'd like to see the dessert menu if you don't mind. Her name is Rita. Let me brief a meter man. You got it.
We looked at our menus. I don't know why, but I was feeling very happy. It was as though we were the Three Musketeers, all for one and one for all. I lowered my menu to speak when suddenly I saw a look pass between them that was so emotionally charged it almost knocked me off my chair. It spoke of a deep love, the kind that can only spring from pain. But there was more. In his eyes, I could see everything from fear to desperation to a kind of plea. Please, don't leave me. Her look to him was much more simple. Courage, it said. I realized then why Maggie was not threatened by me. There was something between them that went beyond emotions like jealousy. When you're dealing with something as earth-shaking as death, jealousy is an emotion that ceases to have meaning.
Excuse me. I hate to interrupt, but I've got to say something here. This woman is romanticizing. Now, I can understand why she's doing it. She's a writer. I've read her stuff, and I know her heart's in the right place. But this is my life we're talking about here, and she's turning it into some sort of gothic novel. Please, I don't mean to ruin your little whatever this thing is, but there's a certain amount of bullshit going on, and I'd like to take the opportunity to set the record straight. You don't mind, do you?
What are you doing?
Just trying to correct a few misconceptions. Okay with you?
No, it's not okay with me. Please, sit down. Oh, come on, Maggie. I'll admit I'm taking a few artistic license, but writers do that. Okay, so maybe I haven't gotten all the facts completely straight, but since this is fiction,
This is not fiction. This is my life you're serving up before everyone, and I think I have the right to put in my 2 cents worth.
Well, maybe you could do it after I told the whole story?
No, sorry. I thought I could at first, but that last monologue of yours was so over the top. I mean, listen, I don't mean to rain on your parade, but I should think in the interest of accuracy that you'd like to hear what I have to say.
Fine, go ahead.
I've hurt your feelings, right?
No, say what you have to say.
Okay, well, as I was going to
But I would just like to say, this story is meant to be a tribute to you. I have worked very hard to present your story in a light that will be an inspiration to others and perhaps even immortalize you.
Immortalize me? Oh boy, are you barking up the wrong tree. I'm just one other person who got cancer. No more or less mortal than anybody else.
Okay, perhaps that's true, but can't you see that the very act of making your life into a story gives it dramatic proportions and invest it with a meaning that it might not have had otherwise?
Excuse me, are you trying to tell me that my life didn't have meaning?
No, of course not.
Okay, good. Since we determined that my life had meaning, regardless of whether you decide to put it on a piece of paper or not, I should think I'd be allowed to address a few points here. Well, don't you?
Yeah. Okay.
Can you give me leave to speak?
Speak?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that Maggie was right about one thing. I didn't like her. I still do. I felt like she did, that we were sisters in another life, or brothers. Drag slabs of stone up the same pyramid, whatever. And the fact that we had the same name only heightened the effect. We ran with different crowds in high school. Mine was the party crowd. Hers was the angry politicos, the early freaks and dope smokers that we all looked down upon. Funny thing is, I think I was really with the wrong people. I think I would have been a lot happier with all the angry ones. And a lot healthier today if I could have blown off steam at an earlier age. But that's another story.
Oh, please, don't tell it now.
Don't worry, I won't. Now, about this Three Musketeers thing.
It was just an illusion. I didn't mean to suggest that...
Oh, yeah, but it was so over the top. I mean, I only just met you that night. Jim hadn't seen you in 25 years. How could you suddenly see us as an inseparable threesome?
It was the way I was feeling. I didn't say it was the way you were feeling. So I don't have that many close friends, and that evening was very important to me.
Why don't you have any close friends?
Well, say I didn't have any. It's just that with my lifestyle, the lifestyle of my friends, wait a minute. This is not where I want to go with this. This is your life we're examining here.
Well, why can't we do a little looking at yours while we're at it?
Because that is not the intention of this piece. Now please, Maggie, I don't mind you adding in a few words, but let's not take this in an entirely different direction.
Okay, I'm sorry. But you know, I really think you ought to look into that no friends thing sometime in the future.
Thanks, I will. Now, is there anything you'd like to add before I go on?
Yes, that look. The meaning of that look.
That look was a devastating thing.
Okay, to you maybe. But to us, it was one of 1,000 looks that have passed between us since this whole thing began. And listen, it's not fair to paint Jim as the wimpy one and me as some sort of saint. You didn't get to see the days when I was a whiny baby or a total bitch, and Jim was as solid as a rock. I want you to get that in, Mag. It's important that Jim get his due.
Okay.
One other thing.
Oh, please, this isn't fair.
One other thing. I was jealous of you.
You were.
Yes. But not for the reason you think. I was jealous because you were healthy. Because you had your whole life ahead of you. I started wishing that Jim had married you so that he wouldn't have to go through this shit with me.
No.
Yes! Of course, yes. Do you have any idea of the guilt that a sick person goes through, knowing they're ruining the lives of everyone they love? The whole experience is one big fucking drag, but the guilt thing is definitely a standout. Okay, I'm done. Carry on.
Carry on? Carry on? You just ruined my whole story here. How do you expect me to carry on?
Oh, come on. What was the original impulse behind the story?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You're just sulking.
I think I have a right to sulk. I don't even dare stand up and say anything about you anymore. You're going to stand up and say it's bullshit again.
Oh, no, I won't. I promise.
You know, you've taken the heroic aspect right out of this thing.
How? By telling the truth?
By emphasizing aspects of your character that we don't need to know.
Well, that's me. Take it or leave it. Look, I promise I won't say another word. I just wanted to set you off on the right foot. Now that I got you going, it should go much more smoothly. And by the way, I love that opening. All those people walking around talking, neat stuff. I don't know what it meant, but it looked really cool.
Thanks. Sorry about that. I know how irritating it is to have the flow interrupted. I didn't mean this to be a Brechtian evening. I was just hoping that you would be able to indulge your emotions from time to time. Pete, please feel free in the future that... This is horrible.
Oh, please, no, come on, I'm on your side. Good, that's good. Get relaxed, shake it out. Good idea. Okay, let's go.
Well, like I said, I found the look that passed between them incredibly moving, whatever it meant. And I also felt very much on the outside of their experience, very much alone for a minute, but as has been said, why wouldn't I? I barely knew them. We finished dinner and Jim went to get the car.
Great, Sandy. Hey, I thought you'd be in Europe by now.
3 more days. I can hardly wait. I'm so excited. I've always wanted to see Europe.
Oh, me too, especially Italy.
Italy. You've never been to Europe?
Oh, no, not yet. Maybe someday. Well, have a great time.
Thanks. I will. I might never come
back, I might go out there and change my whole life.
Change her whole life. You think she will?
Oh, well, you never know. Anything's possible. We could open up the paper someday and discover she's become...
Princess Sandy of Liechtenstein.
You never know. Oh, it's been great for us getting out like this.
Me too.
I haven't seen Jim this happy in ages. He was so excited when he found out you were back in town. You should see the detective work he did to find out where you were staying.
Really?
Yeah. He really wanted us to meet. Am I different from what you expected?
Oh, I don't know what I expected.
I've changed a lot since high school.
I guess we all have.
Oh no, I mean sure I changed. It's a conscious decision. And you have a lot to do with that.
Maybe, what do you mean?
It's a funny story. Are you going to be in town a while longer?
Just a couple of days.
Well, good. If you're ever anywhere near Mass General, stop by and say goodbye before you leave.
Mass General?
Yeah. You know where that is?
Yeah, I do. Well, hey, I'll see how my appointments line up.
Oh, great. Because who knows when we'll see each other again. 25 years is a long time to wait.
Jim dropped Maggie off at the hotel. And I went back to the hotel. You two are good together. She's fantastic.
I thought you might enjoy each other.
You're really good together.
Yeah, we do okay. She's a nurse, you know.
No, I didn't know.
She works with children. She's taking some time off right now, which is hard for her because she loves her work. But this will work out okay. We'll have this chemo and buy ourselves a little more time and get back to life as usual.
Good. That'll be good.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Lamar Street.
Yeah. What's that stuff you use in your hair?
Cream rinse. Used in brains.
Yeah, I remember. Maggie uses this herbal stuff. It smells really fresh. Well, we're here.
Will you call me, Jim? I want to see how Maggie's chemo goes.
Yeah, sure. Or why don't you call me? I get kind of busy sometimes, you know, with everything going on.
Sure. It's going to be okay, Jim.
Yeah, sure. I know. This is just a try. You look great, Manny. You really do.
The next day, I took a walk down Newberry Street.
Hi, can I help you?
I was interested in one of these crystal things. I read a little bit about it, and I'm thinking of maybe getting something for a friend. Although, I don't know, maybe this is silly.
Not at all. What kind of stone were you thinking of getting?
I'm not sure.
How about an amethyst? It'll put her spirit in balance and promote tranquility.
A what? How could it do that? It's a stone.
For thousands of years, stones have been recognized for their healing powers
By whom?
by those who know.
Scientists? Geologists?
Not everything that happens in this world can be embraced by the parameters of science.
Oh, I see. Witch doctors, voodoo men.
Are you sure you're interested in purchasing the crystal? You don't seem, frankly, like the optimum candidate.
I'm not the candidate. I told you it's for a friend.
And what makes you think your friend might be a candidate?
I don't know.
How about a sucalite?
A what?
A sucalite. They've only been mining it for the past 40 years, but already it's renowned for its intense healing powers.
What does it look like? It's not very pretty.
Beauty has nothing to do with a mineral's intrinsic power.
Oh, sorry.
Have your friend is a woman,
Yes.
have her put this next to her bed, or even under her pillow.
Under her pillow. We're trying to cure her, not kill her.
Next to her bed then. And if the effects seem too powerful, tell her to move it further away.
This is ridiculous. It's a rock.
Yes, I think we've already established that.
I am not going to give a woman dying of cancer a rock to put under her pillow.
You know, you're the one who walked in here. I don't remember anyone dragging you through the door.
All right. I'll take it. Give me a big one.
Right, she checked it about an hour ago.
Great.
Diane!
Oh, I'm so very sorry. I don't have my glasses on, and for a moment there you look so much like my wife. My apologies.
Not at all.
I hope you won't think me forward, but you have lovely hair.
Thank you.
You were saying?
Yes, Maggie Burroughs. I was wondering, could you give her this?
Well, sure, but don't you want to give it to her yourself?
Oh, I'm sure she can't have visitors.
Yeah, she can. She's just down an X-ray, but she'll be back in a minute. Why don't you wait?
No, I really don't want to bother her.
You won't be bothering her. I'm sure she'd love to see you.
Gosh, I'd love to, I really would, but I'm so tied up in my schedule.
Well, I could call down
No!
there.
Thanks a lot. I just really wanted to drop this off. I'll call her from New York later. Could you tell her that I'll call?
Right. You'll call.
Don't look at me like that. My book signing that afternoon. Is that Kathy with a C?
No, Kay. I just want to let you know, Miss Mulroney, I've read all your books, and I think you're terrific.
Thank you.
I love all your characters. They're all so lonely and sad, but they're trying real hard to understand their lives, and I love that.
Thank you.
Plus, they're funny, of course.
Of course. Hi, how shall I make this out?
Just say to my very best friend, Christine.
I started to wonder, as I often do, why women seem to respond so directly to my stuff. Is there something about sad people you can laugh at that appeals more directly to the female psyche? It's not that men don't respond, they do.
I love the way you interweave the development of the theme with the exterior schematic.
Thank you. But not in such a personal way. Still, it's nice to have an audience. I'm one of those few people who still enjoys book signings. All those people out there who think they know you and like what they think they know. The whole time, my thoughts kept coming back to Maggie. What were they doing to her? Was chemo painful? What was she feeling right now? Hello?
How did you know?
How did I know what?
How did you know to buy her a Sugalite? I got her one a long time ago and she lost it. And I kept wanting to buy her another one and she said no. There was a reason crystals went away from you and a reason they came back.
You mean she believes in that stuff?
Well, yeah. You must too, huh? Or you wouldn't have bought her one.
Yeah, well, they have great healing powers, you know.
She's sorry she missed you. Evidently you had just left when she came back from X-ray.
Oh, what a shame. How is she?
She's doing okay. They were giving her something from the nausea, but she hated it so much she told them to stop giving it to her. Now she's doing the whole thing cold turkey. Everyone's amazed.
Wow. Are you still at the hospital?
Yeah, but I'm going home in a while. It's been a long day.
Well, is there anything I can do? I mean, make you dinner? I make mean chicken cacciatore.
Thanks, but what I need right now is a good night's sleep.
Oh, okay.
Take a rain check? How much longer are you staying in town?
Just a couple of days.
Oh, too bad.
But it's possible that I might have to stay in town and do some research.
Oh, something new? New book or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, well, good luck.
Thanks. I can't believe I just said that. Research on a new book? It has just kind of slipped out. I was really due to go home tomorrow. I looked around my hotel room and its generic attempt at cheerful decor and realized I needed some air.
You're going to suffocate her.
What? You want her to freeze to death?
I want her to be able to breathe.
She's breathing. Look at her. She's breathing.
How can you tell? I can't even see her in there.
Oh!
Yes, may I help you?
Yes, I was noticing your bread and breakfast sign. I was wondering if you might have a room available.
For how long?
I don't know exactly.
Well, come on in. No bags?
No, they're still at the hotel.
Moving out, are ya?
Yes, I'm looking for something a little homier.
Well, you've come to the right
quiet place. This is an old building. Some might even call it a shade run down. But I prefer to think of it as homey, just as you say. We serve a continental breakfast from 7 to 9, free of charge, and there's a TV room on the first floor. There's no TV in it at the moment, I'm afraid.
That's fine, I'll take a room.
Your name?
Maggie Mulroney.
Mulroney, is it? Your family wouldn't hail from County Kerry, would they?
I don't know. My father told me once, and I don't remember, so now I can't ask.
Ah, passed away, is he, your father?
Yes, when I was 18.
Ah, pity. My own dear father died this last year, and I'm still half destroyed. And you, only a teenager, you poor thing. And your mother, is she living?
Yes, she lives in Seattle. We don't see each other very often.
Why not?
I don't know, it's just the way things worked out.
Ah, Maggie, what a shame. Isn't life the saddest thing?
For a brief moment, I wanted to crawl onto her lap and sob until I got uncontrollable hiccups and fell fast asleep. Fortunately, I suppressed it.
Well, Maggie, I'm giving you my daughter's old room with the view of the park. The nicest room I have available. Anything you need, you just ask. Nora the lady's my name, and you'll meet my husband Howard at breakfast.
Thank you, Nora.
You know, I believe, were you able to ask, that you do hail from County Kerry. I knew some Mulroneys from there, and you definitely favor them.
Paying someone to be your family, this could be a whole new untapped market. Instead of businessmen hiring prostitutes, they could hire the motherly type to come in and tut-tut over how hard it was at work. Or yell, "Get your dirty socks off the floor, you louse," depending on your inclination. Nice. Makes me want to throw a slumber party. County Kerry. Well, who knows? There was something comforting about this woman suggesting that I might actually belong to a tribe somewhere. I considered for a moment calling someone to let them know where I was staying, but then I realized there was no one I really needed to call, except for maybe my publicist. I have to admit, I got a little depressed for a minute. Not that I don't have any friends, it's just I couldn't think of who they were right then. So here I was, sitting in a bed and breakfast for no apparent reason, and there was Jim's Maggie, lying in a bed across town with poison dripping into her veins. I sat here for a very long time, trying to figure out the correlation.
You've reached the Burroughs residence. Here is the Maggie update as of Thursday. She is responding well to chemo. Her condition is stable. We hope to have her back in a few days. Leave your message after the beep and someone will get back to you.
Hi, Jim, it's Maggie Mulroney. Guess what? I'm still here. I know you're at the hospital, but I just wanted to call and let you know that I'm thinking of you and hope you're really kicking some butt with that chemo. Let's go, our team, let's go! Bye. That was really stupid.
the Maggie Burroughs Hotline. Maggie went through a kind of slump yesterday, but she's feeling much better today and actually have visitors. I'm boring her to tears, so feel free to drop in and provide a change of pace. Mass General Health and Racket Club, Cambridge Street entrance. Bye.
Hi, Jim, it's Maggie again. I've been meaning to drop in on Maggie, but I've been so darn busy. I have another interview this afternoon, and things are just crazy around here, so please, give her my best and tell her I'm thinking of her. Okay, that's about it. Bye. I know. But everyone tells little white lies on the telephone, don't they? The truth is, I needed some time alone. That night at the B&B, I bought a bottle of wine, drank it in my room, and cried for about 3 hours. The next morning, I woke up with an enormous headache, walked over to the Charles River, and threw things into it just to watch them sink. I guess you might say I was going through a melancholy phase. I was on my way to a Bergmanville retrospective when suddenly I realized I had an interview that afternoon.
And in 5, 4, 3.
Hello, I'm Raymond Terwilliger, and our guest tonight is Margaret Mulroney, whose book, Joined at the Head, is currently topping the New York Times bestseller list. Miss Mulroney is in town at the moment, and we were lucky enough to get her to come by and chat with us here on the Best of Boston. Welcome to the program, Margaret.
Thank you, Raymond. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're actually a Boston native, aren't you?
Well, not really. I spent my adolescence here, however, which were rather important years for me. The wonder years.
The wonder years?
Didn't you ever eat that bread? Soft, white, easy to roll into balls and throw in the cafeteria. That's where the TV show gets its name.
I'm afraid I don't watch commercial television.
Oh, sorry.
Joined at the Head has been doing so well in terms of sales that one might say there's something of a Margaret Mulroney groundswell going on at the moment. To what do you attribute this?
Well, I'm not sure. I've seen so many of my contemporaries fall in and out of favor, I would hesitate to attribute any kind of rational response to anyone's popularity, least of all my own.
Do you feel the nation has gone into a period of self-examination? And perhaps you exemplify the recent mood of the nation.
Okay, that sounds good. Honestly, I don't know. I liked my last book, and I could have offered you a very convincing explanation for its being a hit, but it wasn't, and this is, go figure.
Joined at the Head is a searing indictment of the father-daughter relationship.
Oh,
Is
no.
I beg your pardon?
It's not a searing indictment of anything. It's funny.
Be that as it may, is your relationship with your father as cancerous as the one between Aggie, the protagonist in your book, and her father?
Cancerous?
By that I mean destructive, a sense of something rotting from within.
Are you sure we're talking about the same book?
Yes, I know, I've read all the kudos, delightfully witty, hilariously funny, etc. But I'm sorry, this reviewer found himself quite literally gasping for air while reading your book. The mood you created was so claustrophobic.
Oh dear, I'm very sorry.
You're sorry your book is so powerful.
It wasn't my intention to hamper your breathing process. I was merely trying to poke fun at some of the foibles of the father-daughter thing.
And many would say you did exactly that. I'm merely trying to get deeper here, Margaret, to discover the real Margaret Mulroney.
Is that absolutely necessary?
What is your relationship with your father?
Fine, quite normal. He's deceased, unfortunately, but we were very close when he was alive. I think he would approve of this particular book.
Is that necessary? That he approved?
Well, no, of course not. I'm starting to feel like I'm in therapy here. I hope your rates are reasonable.
It has been said that while the women in your books are fully fleshed out characters, the men tend to be caddish, shallow, selfish, even perverted individuals. Why do you think this is?
I wasn't aware that such a thing had been said.
Well, certainly Maxwell Roundtree couldn't be considered a sympathetic character now, could he?
On the contrary, I'd go out with him.
You'd go out with him. An egomaniacal skirt chaser with hardly a moral bone in his body.
He's smart, funny, and successful. What more do you want in a man?
You're not married, are you?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm not.
Anyone special in your life?
I find it interesting that this question gets asked of me so frequently. Tell me, if Saul Bellow were on the show tonight, would you ask him about the special someone in his life? I'm just curious.
Touche. No, we've been speaking with Margaret Mulroney, feminist author of Joined at the Head. Tomorrow we'll be speaking with Jean Kirkpatrick.
I hear she's dating someone really cute these days. Why don't you get her to tell you about it?
This has been the best of Boston.
And we're clear.
Hey, baby, that you? How's the birthday, girl?
How did you...
Look, I heard about this lousy review, and I hope you're not going to let some joker from Seattle ruin your birthday. In fact, I'll tell you what I did for you. I rented out this hall, and you're going to come out here and read your book page by page to all these clowns. We'll make them pay to hear it, and they're going to love it.
Daddy, you...
Because that's the only way to deal with these schmoes. Let them know who's boss. You're a comic, kid. Karma doesn't let anyone stand in her way.
Daddy, you can't.
Don't whine, Magpie. You know how I hate it when you whine.
I'm sorry.
You want to make your old man proud of you?
Yeah, but...
You're not going to let him treat you like a loser, are you?
Daddy.
Are you? That's my girl. You're a good one, Magpie. Your mother and I love you very much.
I love you too.
Now, I've rented out this hall and we're going to force this stuff down all the naysayers' throats. And before you know it, they're going to be begging for more. My daughter's no loser.
Daddy, you can't be doing this.
What do you mean? I've already sold the tickets. Call the newspapers.
No, I mean, you can't be talking to me on the phone right now.
Why not?
Because you're dead, Dad. Dad? Daddy, wait, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Daddy, please talk to me.
Maggie? Maggie, are you all right? I hope you don't mind my barging in on you, but I couldn't help hearing.
No, I'm sorry. I embarrassed my father.
How's that?
In my dream, I think I really embarrassed him by pointing out that he was dead.
Oh, yes. Probably considered it bad form. Mine does too. Would you like me to make you a cup of tea? Might settle your nerves a bit.
No, thanks, Nora. I'm sorry to have woken you.
Ah, you didn't wake me. It's still early yet. Howard and I were playing Scrabble. Terrible cheater, Howard. He's probably trained in his tiles even as we speak.
Oh, dear.
You know, it may not be the best time to mention it, but there certainly are a lot of phone messages piling up for you downstairs.
I know.
Your editor, your publicist, a man from the Boston Globe. Sounds like a fascinating existence being a writer.
Is there anyone who called that said they were a friend?
Well, not specifically, dear, but I'm sure many of them were. Well, I should be getting back to Howard. You sure you'll be all right?
I'll be fine. Thanks for looking in.
Ah, of course. Tell your father not to take things so seriously.
I will. Good night. This is getting kind of confusing. I didn't mean to get into all this stuff about my family. It just kind of slipped out. Please, bear with me. Sometimes you just veer off track, you know? Okay, let's get back to the important stuff. I call Jim and Maggie's house frequently.
This is the Maggie Burroughs hotline. If all goes well, Maggie might be coming home in a couple of days. The treatments have gone well.
All I got was a machine. It's frustrating. I started feeling really nervous and edgy, and I started asking myself, what could I do to calm myself down?
Okay, blood levels normal, heart good, mammography negative. You're in good health.
I don't know, I'm not sleeping that well lately.
You have a slight tendency toward anemia, but nothing serious. Pop a few folic acid tabs now and then.
Pop a few folic acid tabs?
Yeah, sure, what the hell.
What about the headaches?
Ever heard of aspirin?
Yeah, I've heard of aspirin, but what if it's more than a headache? What if it's something serious?
You want me to run a CAT scan? I'd be happy to run a CAT scan.
Why, do you think I need one?
I just told you. I think you're perfectly normal. Physically, that is.
Then why do you want to run a CAT scan?
I don't. I'm humoring you.
Look, I'm a little nervous here, okay? I'm just not feeling up to par. Is it possible that you might have missed something?
Anything's possible. I once gave someone a clean bill of health and he dropped dead the next day.
What?
Very unusual. Can't know everything.
This is not comforting. Somehow I am not feeling better for this experience.
Well, have you thought maybe about taking a vacation?
I'm on vacation, sort of.
Oh. Well, perhaps you should go back to work.
Have I told you how helpful you've been? You've been really wonderfully helpful.
My pleasure. Drop in anytime.
but I don't. I'm sorry to have gotten you all out here on false pretenses. I'm really embarrassed. So tell you what, let's just stop here. Maybe a little time away from this will clear my head.
What are you doing?
Sending everybody home. Why? Because I thought I knew what I was doing, but I don't. Now all this other stuff is coming out.
What other stuff?
About me. Who needs it?
Evidently you do.
No, I don't. It's immaterial and off the point. Bye, everybody.
Don't anybody move. This is ridiculous. Tell your story.
I can't. What are you doing in here anyway? You said you'd never interrupt again.
Well, obviously I spoke prematurely. I had no idea you'd try to pull a stunt like this. This is highly irresponsible. You owe it to these people to continue. Now talk.
No.
All right, then I will.
You will?
Yeah, somebody's got to.
This is my story.
Yeah, but you're not telling it. And you just can't leave these people dangling like this. It's extremely bad manners. Okay, when we last left our heroine, she had just...
I'm not the heroine, you're the heroine.
Oh. Well, what are you?
I'm the narrator. My life serves as a backdrop for your story.
Oh. Okay. Well, when we last left our backdrop, she had just come back from a trip to the doctor, which is what about 99% of all people do when they find out someone they know has cancer. She decided to stay on in Boston to be near Jim and me, then proceeded to avoid us for the next 3 days.
What do you mean? I didn't avoid you. I called you constantly.
But you never came to the hospital once.
I was busy.
I see.
I was. I had meetings and interviews.
Excuse me, do you mind? I'm trying to tell a story here. Thank you. You also saw a dream about a rather strange phone call from her parents.
Which I asked you to disregard.
Although I myself found it rather interesting. Then let's see. Right after that, I came back from the hospital. It was nice to be back home after 5 days of staring at the walls at Mass General, but I felt like total shit. I had mucositis, which is like 50 zillion canker sores all along the inside lining of your mouth and down your throat. It was the worst.
Here you go. Can you drink from this? Come on, honey, try and take a sip, huh? There you go. Yeah. I know it hurts, but you've got to keep up your strength. Speak.
Oh, Jim, I thought I'd get your machine.
We just got home.
How's Maggie?
Pretty well under the circumstances.
Oh, what a relief. Can I talk to her?
Not at the moment. She's kind of lying low.
Oh, sure. Well, I just wanted to check in and see how things were, let you know I'm thinking of you.
That's nice of you, Mag. Thanks.
And if there's anything I can do...
Thanks. When she's feeling better, we'd like to have you out to dinner.
That would be great. Well, loved Maggie.
Thanks. How you feeling?
A little achy.
You could be run over by a steamroller when they peeled you off the pavement and asked you how you felt. You'd say, "Oh, a little achy." Come on, drink up.
Jim, please go away.
No, it's all right. You're for good. Get used to it. Drink. Yeah. There you go. Nice to have you home, sweetie.
It's nice to be home.
Maggie sends her love. She left about 25 messages while you were in the hospital.
You didn't call her back?
No, too busy.
I wish you had. I think she's lonely.
Lonely? No way. She's doing great. Flying here, flying there, book signings, interviews. This is the kind of life she always wanted. Well, come on, more. Drink a little more, I promise. I'll leave you alone for 20 minutes. Okay. You win. And honey, if you don't drink liquid, you're going to get dehydrated.
That's exactly what happened. I got dehydrated, and it was back to the hospital for me. Interestingly enough, Maggie still did not visit, although she sent many strange and exotic gifts. Jim did, however, finally return her phone calls, and the next night they had dinner at our house.
We don't need to do that.
What?
That was just one of those old-time sake kind of dinners. It had nothing to do with you.
Hey, who's telling this story?
I don't see how you can tell a story about a dinner you weren't at.
Maybe I'll surprise you.
I'd rather you didn't.
Look, you're stuck, right? I might as well take a stab at it, okay? Right, The next night they had dinner at our house. Here's what I think probably happened.
Oh, Jim, that's beautiful.
Okay. You like it?
Yes.
Wrote it for Maggie.
Really? She must have been so touched.
Yeah, she likes it. Hey, you remember this one?
I thought you might have forgotten that one.
How can I forget the first love song I ever wrote? You were such a lovely girl. You still are.
No.
Yes, you are. You know, I feel like I can only say this to you, and please try not to judge me, but it's such a relief to be with someone who's helping. God, I hate myself for saying that, but poor Maggie. I have to be so careful with her all the time. She's so fragile. It's like being with a wounded bird. I broke one of her ribs once, making love, just snapped it in two. And we were both trying to be so careful. It was like making love with a teacup. But I broke it anyway. I heard it break.
Jim, how horrible.
Oh, Maggie, sometimes I wonder how much more of this I can take. And then I hate myself because she's the one who's going through the pain. What the fuck right do I have to cave in?
You're not caving in. It's hard. No one comes out a hero at a time like this. It's hard.
Come here. Oh, God. Please forgive me.
No! Oh, boy, you've got it all wrong. How could you even think such a thing?
How could I think such a thing? Isn't that where all this has been leading?
No, Maggie, oh, please, give me a little credit. Forgive me, give Jim a little credit. He would no sooner have made a pass at me than cut off his arm.
Really?
Yes, really. Oh, Maggie, sometimes you really shock me.
Well, then what happened? If he did make a pass at you, what happened?
I don't want to get into it.
I think you better, don't you? To clear up this misconception.
Maggie, it has nothing to do with the story. It's extraneous and completely off the track.
What track? I thought you were stuck.
All right. I'll try to encapsulate it for you. I'll make this quick, and then we can get on to other things. I had dinner at Jim's that night. I'd had a little too much wine with dinner, and I tend to take things too seriously when I have wine in my system. Oh, Jim, that's beautiful.
You like it?
Yes.
I wrote it for Maggie.
I had a feeling. I always knew you were going to end up being a famous musician.
Instead of a loser high school teacher?
Jim, that's not
I'm
right.
kidding. Look, there was a time when I thought so too. We both vowed we'd get out of this place and make good. You're the one who did it.
Are you sorry you didn't?
I was at first. Then I met Maggie. Wouldn't change a thing now. Except for this little cancer thing that's kind of cramping our stuff.
Do you want to talk about that? I mean, I want you to know that I'm here for you.
Thanks. No, I'm fine.
Jim, the other night in the car.
A little moment of insanity, Mag.
That wasn't insanity. That was a perfectly natural response to a terrible situation.
Nothing to worry about. Hope you forget it happened.
It's good it happened. I'm just glad that I'm the one you chose to.
Maggie, I didn't choose anything. You just happened to be there, okay? No big deal. Hey, remember this one?
I couldn't believe it. First he pulls the rug out from under me, and then he tries to make up for it by playing me a love song. Hey, play me that Jim Morrison tune I used to like.
What?
What's it called? Blue Money or something?
You're kidding me, right?
Why would I be kidding?
I start playing you a song I wrote you 25 years ago. You told me to play Van Morrison.
I like that song, I really do. And you said it. Times change. I mean, we're not teenagers anymore. It's kind of embarrassing.
This is vintage you know that? Christ, you haven't changed a bit.
What do you mean, vintage me?
Forget it.
No, I want to know. What do you mean, vintage me?
Maggie, you always used to do this. How many times do I have to tell you don't stop somebody in the middle of a song?
sorry. I
don't care. It's fucking rude. Not to mention controlling.
Oh, I'm controlling. Well, that's really funny coming from someone who always had to call the shots.
That's it. Turn it around. Now it's my fault.
It is. It has been the pattern from the beginning. Who dumped who at the senior prom?
The senior prom again. Maggie, I wasn't going to mention this. But since you keep bringing it up, I didn't dump you at the senior prom. You dumped me.
I did not.
Yes, you did. You don't remember this? You told me your father said I was a loser. You didn't want to be saddled with a loser the rest of your life.
I never said that.
Oh, yes, you did. Believe me, Mag, it is not the kind of thing a guy forgets.
A loser? I probably did say that.
Maybe that's why I ran off that night with Gina Laszlo.
Jim, I'm sorry. I don't know how I could have been so cruel.
Your dad had just died. You were having a tough time. I was a moody musician with pipe dreams of grandeur and very little compassion. Who wouldn't have done me?
You're being awfully understanding.
Only in retrospect. To tell you the truth, I was pretty pissed off there for a couple of years. When Maggie got sick, I looked back on that time and realized what was going on with you. It's a bitch. There's no way around it.
I know. I wish you'd allowed yourself to be comforted a little, Jim. This New England stoicism is so unhealthy.
Don't talk to me about unhealthy, huh? I don't remember you being so warm and wonderful while your dad was wasting away. Oh, Christ. That was a low blow. Look, being around you seems to strike a raw nerve in me. That's why I haven't been returning your calls.
Oh, I didn't realize you didn't want to talk to me. I thought you were just too busy.
I was. Oh, God. Mag, don't take this as rejection.
I'm trying not to. Give me a minute.
I just can't talk about this. Cancer, Mag. You have to remember what that's like.
Yes, I do, and I'm really sorry.
Good way. Just like old times, I'm being an asshole.
I'm being hypersensitive. It's a magic combination. Oh, I feel like I'm 16 again. I hated being 16.
The Wonder Years.
Oh, no. You didn't see that interview, did you?
Great, so.
Oh, I was desperately hoping no one ever watched that show.
It's big with hospital waiting rooms. Good soporific. Listen, the guy's a moron. You should have seen him with Larry Bird.
Do you think he's right about my book?
Well, I think he's right. Your father would approve.
What does that mean? You don't like my book, do you?
Who am I to judge? Look, Maggie, it's selling like hotcakes. Everybody loves it.
What's wrong with it? Come on, Jim. You're an English teacher. You're one of the most receptive people I know. Since I've endowed you with the power to make me listen to you, what's wrong?
Okay. In my opinion, it's dishonest.
Dishonest?
It's not your dad. Some guy you poked up to make America laugh, but it is not your dad. Now, if that was your intention, fine, you succeeded. But if you wanted to summon up your dad in the essence of your relationship with him, I'm sorry, I didn't buy it.
Oh, I see. Well, what did you want me to write? That I was a delinquent teenager who never lived up to his expectations? That he died before I could ever make him proud of me?
If that happens to be the truth, yes.
Oh, sure, that's fascinating. The story of one woman's failure. That'll sell millions for sure.
Well, of course, you're right. Selling millions is your intention. I suppose you'll have to just dress it up a bit.
Oh, it is so easy to be righteous from a distance, isn't it?
I'm not judging him, Mag. I'm really not. I'm just surprised to see the old firebrand and him turning out such innocuous crap. Sorry. You're mad at me, right?
This is just a little more honesty than I can take in one evening.
Mag, I'm your friend. What am I supposed to do? Lie to you?
Well, I'm your friend too, but once every 25 years seems like just about enough right now.
You leaving?
Yes! It's late. Thanks for dinner. I gotta go.
Maggie. I was looking forward to showing you the great guy I've turned into. How happy 10 years of marriage has made me. How I finally managed to acquire some compassion along the way. Sorry I screwed it up.
You didn't screw it up, Jim. You did just fine.
Everybody in this story seems to cry in their cars.
Leave me alone.
Maggie, this is very reckless driving. You're on Lamar Street driving like an idiot.
Who cares? We're all gonna die anyway.
Oh, that's a fine attitude, I must say. Listen, Maggie, I know you're upset, but this is your car and somebody's got to drive it. Pull yourself together, Mag, please. Thank you. You're making me nervous.
I told you we didn't need that scene. Your name was barely mentioned.
I was there, though. I was clearly there.
What was I looking for from him? Why didn't I find it?
Maybe you did. You just didn't realize it.
What do you mean?
What was it you were looking for?
Approval, as usual. The never-ending quest for approval.
And all you got was friendship. Tough break. Well, bye.
Are you leaving?
Yeah, I think you're back on track now. And drive carefully, will you? You could kill yourself driving like that.
Oh, so anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. Maggie was doing as well as could be expected, and
Maggie's worse. An infection has set in. She's running a high fever. Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Excuse me. I was wondering, can I check on the condition of one of your patients, Maggie Burroughs?
Burroughs, let me check for you. I'm sorry, she's passed away.
What?
Oh, no, wait! That's Boris! Margaret Burroughs is stable. Look, I'm sorry, I haven't had my morning coffee yet.
Please have it now.
Maggie, oh, it's so good to see you.
How is she?
She's better. She's being coupled with antibiotics. She put a scare into us, but the doctor says she'll be fine.
What a relief.
Yeah, she bounces back pretty quick from these things. She got a lot of fight in her, that girl. Listen, I'm sorry. I dragged you out here in the middle of the night.
No, I'm glad you called. I have very strong memories of this place.
You do?
Yes, I used to visit my father here.
Oh, well, hey, Mag, you don't need to stick around. I'll tell Maggie.
No. I want to see her. I mean, if she can handle visitors.
Yes, she can. In fact, she asked for you. She thinks you're a kindred spirit.
Are you okay? You look exhausted.
I'm fine. Why don't you go on in? It's room 36. I'll be in a minute.
Jim, about last night.
Magpie, let's do ourselves a favor and forget about last night.
Magpie? You call Maggie that too?
No, that was yours. All yours. Now, get on in there.
Thanks.
Here's what you won't hear from them about me. You won't hear about the nights I lie awake looking at Maggie. Our children would have been. You won't hear about how I lust for her even now, with tubes running out of her body. How I've fantasized about making her well with my ejaculations as though it were life-giving fluid that could wash through her entire body and render her clean again. Or about the other side of that, the self-hatred that goes along with forcing yourself upon a sick person. Even though she pretends it's voluntary, that she wants it too. You won't hear about the anger. An anger so strong and so vicious, it feels like it could wipe out cities. Anger at the world, at fate, at this fucking roll of the dice that is your life. And anger at Maggie for letting herself get so sick. For doing this to me and ruining my life. You particularly won't hear about this last because I don't tell it to anyone, least of all myself. You won't hear about my dreams. Dreams of flight, other women, another life. One with her we didn't get to have. You won't know the comfort I take in these dreams, the true happiness I find in them. The strange sensation of waking up to discover that it's your life that's the nightmare and not the dream. Don't cry, Jim. It's only your life. You're asleep now. Everything's okay. You won't hear about the people I work with, how they react to all this. How some are compassionate and caring, and others act as though I'm a carrier and they're going to get it themselves. Still others behave as though nothing at all has happened, and I'm probably overreacting. And more than one woman is already shooting up flares. I'm available when all this is over. Vulture women. If they knew my fantasies regarding them, every sphincter would open in abject fear. You won't hear about the effort it takes to stay positive, to keep hoping, to never let her know I've given up. And you won't know because she couldn't possibly realize it herself how desperately and deeply I love her. My partner. My life partner. The one I'm joined to forever. My love. My wife. I just thought you should know.
Maggie?
Hey, come on, man. Don't be shy. You look like you think I'm gonna drop dead before your eyes.
Well, actually, you look pretty good. I mean, you don't look ready for the Olympics, but you look better than I imagined.
Kinda makes me wonder what you imagined.
How are you feeling?
Fine. A little achy. What's that?
I don't know. I found it in the gift shop.
I hope you weren't planning on giving it to me.
No, I really needed something like this for my apartment. I don't know why. I keep buying you the most ridiculous things.
Oh, they're not ridiculous. I've been listening to these tapes all day. They're great.
What do they say?
They're subliminal messages, nature sounds, messages like you're feeling better every minute, that sort of thing.
Well, I never really trusted those things. I thought they were saying something like, kill the landlord.
Oh, but you got it for me anyway.
Well, yeah.
And what about my crystal?
Oh, the crystal's different. Those things are potent.
Oh no, what have I reduced you to? Find things that go against all your convictions, then pretending you believe in them.
Well, you never know.
No, never do. I was so scared about meeting you again for all these years.
You were. So was I.
Why were you scared?
I was afraid it would be awkward and horrible and that our faces would hurt with phony smiling.
Oh, I hate that.
Why were you scared?
Because I felt guilty.
Guilty?
That I was the one who got Jim. I used to worry that I got him under false pretenses. Jim and I met at a 4th of July parade. Did he tell you that?
Uh-huh.
He was standing over there watching the floats, and I kind of sidled up next to him. I remembered him from school. As a matter of fact, I remembered him as your boyfriend. It was surprising to see him standing there, looking so lost and lonely after all these years. I just assumed he'd married you, gone off to be a big shot somewhere, you know, Brown Book Award and all.
Yeah.
So there I was, watching the parade, feeling stupid. And I said to myself, if I were Maggie Mulroney right now, what would I say? And at that moment, a float went by with Gina Laszlo on it. She was looking a little worse for the wear. To tell you the truth, I think she kind of peaked in the 12th grade. So there she was, all dolled up like some overweight sex goddess on a float that said Bigelow Pontiac. She married Robbie Bigelow. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So there she was on Robbie's float, waving a wand. Oh, you had to be there to appreciate the full impact. And I said, living proof. You drive them off the lot and they lose their value instantly. Well, it was a start.
No, I like it.
Yeah. So did he. He gave me one of those looks like I just arrived on the line. One of those, what did we hear looks, you know?
Yeah.
I felt like $1 million. Suddenly I felt so free and liberated with my new personality. It was great. But after a while, I started to worry. I said to myself, that wasn't really you. Who was that? And I knew once it was you.
But that's not me. I don't feel free and liberated at all.
It just seemed like you did to me. You seemed absolutely ferocious. I loved your optimism, your sense that anything was possible. But most of all, I loved your anger, because that was the one thing I couldn't express myself. My mother was an alcoholic. Even conscious, she wasn't what you call sick. I spent all of my time trying to fool everybody. Convince them that we were a normal family. Most of the time I managed to pull it off. But God, I was so angry. I was angry at my mother for taking away my childhood. But most of all, I was angry at myself for being such a good girl, for letting everybody push me around. You don't know how much I wanted to go to that demonstration in Boston with all of you and scream at the top of my lungs, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is...
Are you okay?
The ball. I was going to lose it for a minute.
Do you want me to call a nurse?
No, I'm fine. It happens all the time. I'm fine. Yeah. Drink of water. Let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, pretending to be you. I kept telling myself there was no Jim said he was bringing you home to meet me. Do you know what that felt like? No. It felt like the real Maggie was coming back to town. I just couldn't shake that feeling.
But that's not true, Maggie. There's no real Maggie. There's just me and you. Listen, I was kind of worried before I met you too. I thought, here's the woman that's living the life I didn't have. Let's see what it's like. And then I met you and I realized how egotistical that was. You're not living my life. You're leading your own, which is distinct and unique from anybody else's. And as for being anything like me, I should be so lucky. You just blow me away with your courage and your strength and your humor in the face of this thing you're going through. You don't remind me of me at all.
But that's exactly what I see in you. Strength, courage, and humor. How can you say we're nothing alike?
I don't know.
I don't think you see yourself very clearly, Matt. I think you ought to start taking a closer look.
I'm trying, I really am, you know, it's hard. I think it's a writer thing. You get so busy looking at other people's lives, you get out of the habit of looking at your own.
No, that's not it.
It's not, huh?
I don't think so.
I'm afraid if I look, I'll see someone I don't like at all.
Yeah, that's it.
You know that one?
Oh, yeah. It's a scary one. Hurts like hell at first, but after a while you feel much better.
Funny, isn't that the way you describe chemo?
Yeah. Surviving the cure is the toughest part.
I want you to get better. I want you to beat this thing, Maggie.
I will. Don't you worry. I will.
It's my birthday.
You didn't tell anyone.
Oh, I don't usually celebrate it.
Well, it's a high time you started. Happy birthday, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie. I can't think of anyone I'd rather share it with. Jim's out there. And he tells me we have a reunion coming up. Did you know that?
I'll go if you go.
Deal.
What?
I can't believe that Chino actually brought you two together.
That's one reason to go to the reunion right there.
Yeah. Check out how much she's depreciated. Well, I'll see you, my friend.
My friend?
Absolutely will.
Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. She's so pale.
That's temporary. She'll be back on her feet soon.
Absolutely. Well,
Listen, I'm going to stay with Maggie for a while, but I thought maybe tomorrow we could take a spin around Newbridge, check out some of the places you haven't seen yet.
I'd love to. I really would. But you know what, Jim? I've got to go back to New York.
Oh, too bad. We'll miss you. Finished all your research, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. It's time to go back and take stock. But I'll see you both at the reunion.
No, we wouldn't miss it.
I can see it, you know.
What's that?
What you were trying to show me last night. The person that you've become. You're an amazing man, Jim.
Don't feel too amazing. Feel pretty goddamn ordinary if you want to know the truth.
Well, you're wrong. To me, you're a great man.
Best of luck to you, Meg.
Thanks, Jim. You too. Listen, we're now getting to the part of the story that I wasn't going to get into when I first began, but I realize now it would be kind of dishonest not to. So there are several ways to go about this. I'm not sure if a clinical explanation is in order here, or perhaps an itemization of the medical procedures.
Oh, please, no. That would be really boring.
You think?
Oh, yeah, sure. So far up to this point, you've been able to avoid all that technical jargon. I think it's the only reason these people are still here.
Well, thanks a lot. Okay, you're so smart. How do I do this?
Well, I don't know. A couple of jokes first, maybe, to loosen everybody up.
Well, I think jokes would be in pretty bad taste at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Maybe you're right. Well, how about a little music first? Adagio for strings.
Adagio for strings. Now who's romanticizing? What Maggie is trying to help me with can actually be said quite simply. So I might as well just come out and say it. She died.
Well, that wasn't very imaginative.
Well, sometimes it's just better to come right out and say these things.
Oh, yeah, but just bag, she died?
Well, I'm just trying to be
honest,
honest.
don't you think?
Yeah,
Okay, well, honest is good, but I think you could come up with something a little more colorful. How about gave up the ghost, passed on to a better world. Shook hands with Elvis, thank you very much.
Come on, Maggie, I'm trying to end this with a little decorum.
Oh, you're right, sorry.
It was 6 months later, and she had another round of chemo. This one took her just a little too close to the edge. I went to the funeral. Jim was a mess. It was as though everything broke loose inside of him now that he didn't have to be strong for someone else. We both went to the reunion. Even though Maggie was in the class behind us, I felt like she belonged there more than either one of us. She would have gotten such a kick out of Gina Laszlo Bigelow, sexpot turned born-again Christian.
No!
Yes.
Oh, I wish I'd have been there!
I would have loved it. Me, I took Maggie's death pretty hard myself. I went back to New York, took one look at my apartment, and decided to move out of the city. I had a long-standing offer to teach at a college in Iowa, which I'd never really taken seriously. A little voice had always told me, nah, that's a loser thing to do. But for some reason, this little voice had stopped talking. So I called them and told them I'd be out within a week.
I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven.
It's funny though, you know, funny in retrospect. I remember walking back from the cemetery the day of Maggie's funeral. It was another one of those eerily clear days when sound travels like lightning and the sun is like a Klieg light. I was wrapped up in my own story. I didn't want to hear anybody else's, but I couldn't help it. They were there all around me.
No. You gotta look at the big picture. Your problem is you fragmentize.
I do not. What does that mean, anyway?
It means you look at the fragments.
I certainly do not, and I resent that.
Well, we were deeply in love.
Deeply in love? I didn't even know you knew him that well.
Well, I don't, but we had the most incredible weekend. It was very intense.
A weekend qualifies as being deeply in love?
We totally rocked each other in a Heinlein kind of way.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
You know what the chances are of that happening again?
989 to 1.
Oh, you are such a wise ass.
No, seriously, 989 to 1.
How could you possibly calculate such a thing?
All right, look, there's 9 players on a team, right?
Yeah?
And also 9 planets in the solar system. Also, there's 7 days in a week, right?
Yeah, this is bullshit.
No, listen, how many cards in the deck?
I couldn't help listening to their conversations. Everyone with his own story, each person deeply involved in her own activity. It was the events of the day, I guess, but suddenly it all seemed too much. I have to admit, I began feeling very, very sorry for myself, because I couldn't help noticing that while everyone else was in the company of another person or persons, I was the only person on the whole street that seemed to be walking entirely alone.